Hi, this is Frank Rodriguez Villela, and usually when I conduct these interviews, I always say, or many times I say, how excited I am to conduct this interview. But I am truly even more excited now because I get a chance to interview a friend of mine that I grew up with in Houston, Texas, and so I already know a little bit. I know a lot about this young man, but there's always a story and stuff. Even when I do these interviews, and if I talk to somebody and I ask a question, I always end up learning something from a person. And so I have Rene Gasca. We tease, you and I tease a lot about the legend. We talk about there's all these different chapters throughout Texas and probably other states, but definitely in Texas that has their legends of, and it usually pertains to either a style of music. But I honestly feel this is a legend here. This is Rene Gasca, and I grew up with him. We played as kids,
In school?
In school, but there's things that I don't know because I know I met you as a player.
Oh, Frank, I think you know everything about
No. For you that don't know who Rene is, Rene has been involved. From Little Joe, right? Little Joe stuff with Little Joe. Did stuff for Selena. Do stuff for AB right now. Also Pete, right? Pete Estudio.
Pete Estudio.
Estudio. So
he wrote most of the Selena hits.
Right. And so Rene has been there in the I want to say the ground floor, working with, and also Mafia, right?
Yeah, La Mafia.
Mafia. So
group based out of Houston.
So in a way, there. I mean, I have to say it was a Tejano scene, and this is sort of interesting for me because, and then I'm gonna let Rene talk. But Tejano music is really, it doesn't pertain to a style, just a style. It's really music from Texas. That's all it is. So some people get upset about it, but reality, Tejano music, Tejano musicians are just musicians born and raised in Texas. And so, but
music played by Texas.
By Texas, yeah. And so it can be all kind of genres. But here, of course, we do have a nice thing that we do have a market and have had successful artists. So I want to know, Rene, what is it that inspired you to play? I know a little bit of the history, but as a kid, what is it that you ended up?
Well, I grew up in a musical family, and my brothers, they were musicians. So they inspired me to play, I was exposed to a lot of different kinds of music at an early age, and they were pretty successful in the music business, so that helped out a lot and inspired me to play.
So do you think, because I mean, to me, it's like, I know when you have a big brother that's, say, like, you're in the football team, and your brother is the star captain or football player, and your brother was a star trumpet player.
Yes.
Don't you feel that way? He was like,
Well,
so how did that feel? I mean, because was that part of your inspiration?
That's inspiring, but also it's a little difficult because, I mean, you have a really talented brother, and people. I mean, you're like second. You're like, is he as good as his brother? Or
Right. The comparisons.
Yeah, they're comparisons.
Because he played trumpet and you played trumpet.
But he was a lot older than me. He had a lot more experience, and I was just beginning, So there was no comparison.
Right. So, okay, at what age did this happen? Because you're. So, how old were you when you?
Well, there's a 18-year difference between my two brothers, and I.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
So Louis.
They were in high school when I was born.
Oh, you know what?
So I had a lot of catching up to do.
Yeah, a lot of. Okay, so Louis was already like in high school. So he already was.
Yeah, they were already going to graduate. My brother Sam, and he played
Okay.
trombone, and Louis was a trumpet player.
So did you get to sort of see them practice, or I mean at that age they're still young, so they're probably, or were they, so hearing them practice and play, was that the inspiring part?
Well, not so much hearing them practice, but because they were already out on the road and playing professionally.
Mm-hmm.
But just hearing recordings and going out to see them at jazz festivals
Yeah.
and other events, and that inspired me,
Did your parent
But no, my dad wasn't a musician, but he liked playing guitar. Originally, he was from Mexico.
See, I didn't know that.
My dad was born in Mexico, but came to the U.S. at an early age, and all his brothers, they were musicians. His brother, one of them played piano, and the other one mandolin. So I guess that's where we get the music.
Okay, that's
the
I
music
didn't know
gene.
And your dad was Angel Gasca,
Yeah.
right? Okay.
And like most Hispanic families, music is very important,
Yes.
important part of the culture.
Right. It's the entertainment where people get together
Yeah,
and sing. So, see, I didn't know that. I didn't know your dad played at all.
yeah. Well, he played a little guitar.
Yeah. Because your dad.
He didn't read music or
Right.
play professionally, but he loved playing the guitar and singing. Just
So he probably inspired Louis then also, right?
probably.
Yeah.
His older brothers were good musicians. One of his brothers played really good piano. And he would come over to the house and he would start jamming on the piano.
You had a piano at home, right?
Yeah, we
I
always had a
remember
piano
that.
in our house.
So your dad, see, I didn't know that. And your dad was best friends of my godfather, right?
Yes, Jesse Reyes.
Jesse Reyes is another who to me was very inspiring to me. So I think it's so funny that we're
connected.
We're connected in so many ways. Your dad was good friends with my godfather and or padrino, as we call him in Mexico. And so so I know my padrino used to like to sing. So he would do these funny. He would sing songs almost a cappella, or
maybe they would sing in the church choir,
right, or something,
probably, or
right,
at church.
Yeah, exactly, yeah. And we went to the same church. So okay, now did your mom?
No, she wasn't a musician, but she was a big fan. She loved music, all kinds of music. Being born in Texas, I guess you have that love for music in you. And she liked jazz and she liked salsa and Tejano music.
Yeah.
She loved everything.
All that stuff.
And she really loved musicians,
Yeah. So I think it's interesting because my parents are, we were close to the same age. The parents, maybe your parents a little older, but they all had the same. There were the danzones were popular, the boleros. There was just so much music and so much live music, orchestras, and
there was more. In that time, there were more orchestras, big bands.
Big bands, exactly. So I'm sure. Did those records play in your house, like the?
Oh yeah, I grew up listening to all the big bands.
Isn't that crazy? Yeah. It's I mean, to me, it's a sound, and it's a kind of thing where it just becomes normal to hear it. And I think we're lucky, that we get to hear both. We have this culture of listening to, because for my parents, danzones were a big deal.
Yeah.
The danzón, and which is originated also in Cuba. And then you had the trios. The trios they came from Mexico, but had a lot of like Puerto Rican, Cuban musicians that were
Trio Los Panchos.
Los Panchos, yeah, Los
Eating
Panchos.
Gourmet.
So all of that is what you heard, right?
Yeah, growing up.
Yeah, cool. And so who's the one that said? Because I mean, obviously, once you started playing, as far as like, did you study? Did you have a teacher, like a private teacher, or did you have?
No, I just started in at that time it was junior high. Now it's called middle school.
Yeah.
And I would just join the band. I wish I would have had a private instructor, because I think it's really important to have a good foundation in any instrument and have someone teach you the proper way to play the instrument from the beginning.
Right. Especially something where you need proper.
Like I grew up playing wrong, you know.
But it sounds so right, Rene.
Well, now, but thanks to a trumpet player named Nelson Hatt, who lived in Houston.
Oh, that's right.
When I went to the performing arts school, he became. I took some lessons. He would go there to the school to teach, and I took some lessons from him, and he made me start playing. Well, it changed my embouchure, and it was like beginning again. But I probably wouldn't be playing right now if it wasn't for Nelson. So thank you, Nelson.
Yeah. So Nelson was in Houston, right?
Yeah, he was playing with a lot of the orchestras and big bands, and then I think he moved out to L.A.
Okay.
The great lead trumpet player.
I remember him. I remember it.
I think he was working with Woody Herman or Woody Herman band. Yeah, he's a great trumpet player. I think he passed in Los Angeles.
This one had. Yeah, I remember.
That was.
See, I didn't know that either. I didn't know he was did he go to performing arts?
Yeah, he would go teach private lessons there, you know, at the performing arts, and I took a few lessons, and he really helped me out. Like I said, I wouldn't be playing right now.
Okay, so when you at the performing arts school, you got to tell people what that is. So what is performing?
It's just an art school in Houston. Teach dance and music and theater and media.
Right, media. Yeah.
There was also another teacher that helped me a lot too. Her name was Linda Perkins.
Oh, Linda.
And she taught.
That's right, Linda.
She taught arranging.
Right.
So I used to like to arrange music at an early age, and she was really good.
Okay, how old was it? Because I know I know high school is a different age now, right? Because they get it earlier. So how old were you with Nelson and then with Linda? How old did you start that process? How old?
I guess I was like 16 or 17 years old.
Okay.
Yeah.
I remember Linda because she was a great. She had great ears.
Yeah.
She could transcribe. She was very.
She was really good.
So is that where you got for writing?
Yeah, that's where I started. She would give arranging class there at Performing Arts.
Okay, was that your introduction to? So around 15 and 16, you
I started I like to arrange music. I started learning about writing for the different instruments, you know.
Yeah. It's sort of crazy because I mean, you still do that.
Yeah,
right
still
now,
doing it.
Right now, I mean, this is like in a way. I mean, I'm not going to say.
I've been doing it for about 40 years already.
Yeah, I mean, I'm not saying it's a dying art because there's still a lot of people that do it.
Yeah.
But that's something. I don't think your brother did that, right? Louis didn't write.
No, he didn't write. He was more of a player.
Yeah, he's more playing. So you.
Not all people get into that. Into the arranging part of the music, you know.
Yeah. I knew you did that, and so when you did that,
I don't do it as much because it's very time consuming, and also nowadays a lot of people don't read music. They use loops on the computer, you know.
Yeah. I hate to say it.
Record.
Music is a little different now, so you don't.
Everything is computerized.
So, but I remember you writing. So I mean, because we played in bands together as a. We played. I guess some of the first bands. I guess it was with. Elsa.
Yeah, no, we had a
a
neighborhood band.
Yeah, we had a band called Suavecito, right?
Yeah,
Suavecito.
we were playing at a neighborhood band.
So that was, but I knew you wrote, and that inspired me to write because I loved. As soon as I said, "Well, if this guy can write, then I think I can."
Well,
I did rhythm sections.
I had the opportunity to start writing with a group La Mafia. With her older brother Henry, he would hire me to do like orchestra arrangements for violins and cellos, and also for brass parts. So that was he also was very helpful because he gave me that opportunity.
Is it Henry?
Henry Gonzalez.
Gonzalez. That's
He
right.
was the originator of the group La Mafia.
Right.
His younger brothers were the singers, but he's the one that planted the seed, and now they're a very successful group.
Yeah, and still, I mean, they still do stuff, still
Yeah.
tour. So Henry was the leader. So would Henry be some of the first actual writing jobs you would get?
Yeah, yeah. He was probably one of the first, right?
Yeah. That's what I'm amazed. Because you did stuff for, I mean, when you did stuff for us, and it was just something because it was our band.
Yeah, we'd play covers.
We played covers. I remember because I remember doing all this stuff, but to me that's very inspiring to see somebody do it. And I didn't really write as much for horns, maybe more for strings. But the funny thing is, just pushing that pencil, and I guess we would go. Once I moved to LA, we'd go to Judy Green's and buy all the manuscript and pencils. Where that's people
nowadays people don't even buy manuscript.
Yeah, manuscript paper is hard to find these days. But it was just something that I think helped probably both of us out, because when you continued to work, and so after Mafia you did stuff with
Little Joe.
Little Joe, that's right, that's Little Joe.
I did a national TV commercial with Little Joe, and we recorded at Wally Heider Studios in Los Angeles, and I also arranged that commercial. It was for, at that time, it was one of the largest advertising agencies in the world, or in the United States. I forgot the name of the agency, but
It was not William Morris.
Thompson. No, it was
Thompson,
something J.M. Thompson. I can't remember.
Yeah,
recall the name.
Big firm. So I mean, that's what was Joe. Were you part of the band then?
Yes, I was in the band just briefly.
Yeah.
I didn't work with him too long, but I got a lot of experience also. He was another person that gave me the opportunity because I was just starting out, and I got to tour and got to go record in Hollywood and film a TV commercial.
That's right.
And there in Hollywood. It was a nice experience.
So so you did that with Joe, but did you live in Los Angeles at the time?
Then I moved out to California after that, and I started working with bands, local bands around the LA area.
Right.
Cumbia bands and Brazilian groups and some salsa bands.
Okay, what year was this? Like, do you remember?
I don't remember what I don't.
Late 70s.
Yeah, probably.
Late 70s, right after high school. Okay, so we followed each other, or I followed.
Maybe before I went to LA, I probably went to Boston for about a year, and I studied at Berklee School of Music.
Okay.
And then after that is when I moved to California.
Okay, so when you went to Berklee, was that right out of high school?
Yes, a couple of years after I graduated, I went out to Berklee.
Yeah, that's right. God, I forgot that, Rene. I forgot you were in Berklee. Okay, so so when you did that help you as far as the education there in Berklee? Is it like something you say, this is
Yeah, it was a little different, like the way they taught there and the instructors, it was different. It wasn't as, it was a little bit more commercial, I don't know how to explain it.
It wasn't like a conservatory,
yeah,
right?
it wasn't,
Okay,
classical music,
Right, because
they teach you more jazz and more contemporary arranging.
Okay, so if you there, because I'm just thinking, you didn't go to Dick Grove, right?
No, I never went to Dick Grove.
But you knew at the school, right?
Yeah,
I think
LA.
like Dick Grove and Berklee almost had the same concept, was for people that wanted to learn and then do it and use it and work, right? To do for gigs and stuff.
Yeah, it was.
So how long were you at Berklee?
Just about a year.
Okay.
Yeah.
You like it? It was it was cold, right?
It's freezing cold.
It's
cold. I arrived in Berklee in January, and
Oh my gosh, yeah.
And I wasn't expecting all the blizzards and freezing cold weather.
It's cold out there, right? Right. So you were probably ready for California. So and so once so how long were you with Joe? Because Joe. I mean, I guess it was.
I think I was out there. Well, I think I was in Joe's band for about a year.
Okay, so like you have Joe, who's he's originally was Little Joe and the Latineers, right? That was the name of the band. And then right around the 70s, it became
Little Joe y la Familia.
Y la Familia, right when everything was sort of turning around. You had all this other new music started coming in. Santana came out, and then which is more of a West Coast. It was like Malo, this sort of East LA sound with congas and percussion.
Oh, yeah.
So right. So that was that sound. And so you were with Joe, say, right around that time, right, where everything was starting to really. You had El Chicano, those bands, El Chicano, War, and they had that East LA Santana. They had all that sound, but then
that's more Latin sound,
And then you left California. Because how long were you in California? Early 80s, right?
Yeah, I don't think I was there more than a year, 2 years.
Okay, then you came back.
And then I came back to Texas. I moved to Austin.
Austin, okay, yeah. So did you
went to go play some blues in Austin?
Or when you're in Texas, you got to play the blues. And then from there, did you still keep working with Henry, like La Mafia, and then you sort of branched out, but still writing, right? Writing and playing.
Yeah, I don't think when I came back to Texas, I just was working for different groups, not so much La Mafia or Little Joe. I just started working for a lot of different
freelancing.
Yeah,
right?
Freelancing,
okay. Because you
playing around Austin, 6th Street, and all the bars they used to have at that time.
Yeah.
We were playing at Club East West. It was a salsa club there in Austin.
Okay.
They thought it was Mexican music, but it was not Mexican music.
I know.
You go to a restaurant in Austin, and a Mexican restaurant, and they're playing salsa, Puerto Rican and Cuban music.
Yeah.
That has nothing to do with Mexico.
But it's funny. I mean, we could probably do a video alone just explaining the differences, and it's just exactly like when Santana came out with Oye Como Va, and Oye Como Va was a Tito Puente song.
Yeah.
And even the one he's like sort of famous for, Black Magic Woman, was written by Peter Green, a guy in England. So it's not even. So it's funny. The most iconic songs were not Latin. It wasn't Mexican, but they weren't original. They had been around for years and years. So, but when you were learning, because I mean, obviously you were listening to it. Your parents played it.
Yeah.
But were the stuff that with Linda Perkins, because she was a help with the writing.
Yeah.
Were you like needle dropping? You would drop a needle on a vinyl to get parts out. Is that what you were doing?
No, I think at that time maybe I was
cassette.
Cassette.
Okay, cassette. Okay. So because I remember just like messing up so many vinyls. So because we had those albums, because of our parents, we had those particular albums.
The first song I recorded was on vinyl. It was a 45. In Houston. That was the first song I recorded.
That you recorded live, playing trumpet?
Yeah, in a studio there in Houston.
Who?
It was La Mafia. That was the first recording that I made when I was probably like 16 years old.
Okay. I didn't see. I guess the band has been around.
They've been around a long time.
Yeah, I mean, I forgot that they were. Because I guess you were with them, so that's probably before. So again, that was like mid to late 70s. Yeah. That's crazy.
Well, when they were beginning, then they got I was with them when they were just starting out. They wouldn't even go out of town. They were just playing there in the local, in Houston and around Alvin and Angleton. And
but you weren't part of.
Beach.
Yeah, you weren't part of the band. You were just writing, right? You were.
No, I was in the band. That's when the beginning.
At the beginning, got it.
And then later they started recording and they got popular, you know.
Right, right.
But then musicians changed, you know.
But it was a healthy scene because I mean I think of I always feel how
well in Texas, you know, you grow up playing, you know, you're already professional when you're young. You're already playing for money and you're, you know, playing in weddings and 15-year-olds keep getting head
Yeah, we have a lot of outlets, but we also had, I mean, cantinas. When you played at cantinas, I mean, I remember doing, and cantinas is just another word for bar, just a bar. And we were kids. I remember being kids, and I'm just the thought of that we were all, but there was a true scene. Everybody was making money. I mean, I didn't work in the West Coast until I was in my early 20s, like 20, 21.
I think when you're born in Texas, you get you have an opportunity to play at a young age and experience a lot of.
So what was your first gig? What was it like? Do you remember playing your first?
I don't really remember what my first job was, but I remember I was a kid and I tried up for certain groups, several groups, and they told me I wasn't good. I wasn't good enough.
No, not the legend. That's not true.
Well, I wasn't a prodigy. I wasn't a prodigy, you know.
So, but I guess so. I mean, we were probably playing first, and so do you think you were playing first, and then once you discovered about the stuff like the performing arts school, then did that become like a motivating, hey, I want to go to that school? Did you think of that? I mean, because I knew a little bit about it, you know.
Yeah, well, I don't know. I heard about performing arts, but I wanted to go there. Yeah.
Okay, how about middle school? What did you do during middle school?
Yeah, I just played in the marching band, you know.
Okay, not the stage band. They didn't have a stage band.
No, they didn't have a stage band, just the marching band, and then. From there, then I moved on to performing arts. I guess I heard about it and I wanted to go there.
Right. Because
they had an orchestra and a jazz band.
What middle school did you go to? Did you go to middle school? There was. You said it was marching band, but what was it?
It was Marshall Junior High in Houston.
Okay, so
it's still there.
Yeah, I think they call it Northside Middle School now.
Oh yeah,
it's changed. Yeah, things in Texas schools have changed. The names have changed. It's a long story, but I know with cause the middle school it seemed to have a good program, right? They had like some good teachers that would come in there.
Yeah, in the middle school.
Do you remember any teacher that was?
Well, I just remember the director was Mr. Misko.
I remember him, but I thought he had a stage band. No stage band?
No, I don't think so. He just had an orchestra there, but they never.
You're talking marching for football, right?
Yeah, football games.
Okay, yeah. In Texas, football is the king, so gotta have a marching band. So I didn't know that. I didn't know they had a marching band in middle school.
When I was in the band in middle school, but I think I would go. They needed musicians at the high school across the street, which was Jefferson Davis at that time.
Yeah. Now it's Northside High School.
They changed the name, and they needed musicians because they didn't have enough, and so some of the students from the middle school, which was Marshall, would go to play with the high school band, and that's how I got into the band.
And then the high school had a good reputation already, right? They were already known as having.
And they had
a good program, right?
Yeah.
Thanks to your brother, right? Didn't he help out a little bit?
Well,
the other guy was.
There was a lot of great.
Larry Martinez, right?
Yeah, a lot of great musicians went to Davis.
Larry.
Kenny Rogers went to.
Yeah, Kenny Rogers was there. That's right. Kenny Rogers was there. Isn't that crazy? And then I think. I mean, there was always, ZZ Top was on, not too far away. I mean, because I think they were into Reagan High School.
Yeah, Houston has always produced.
Yeah. And the Johnny Winners.
Great musicians.
Yeah, Johnny Winners. The Winner brothers were like just east of us. Lightning Hopkins was in Fifth Ward. And so when you think about it, I guess there was music around us always. You know, there's a certain vibe and a certain scene. And so I think with high school, I mean, because that's where we start. By that point, we feel pretty good, don't we? We felt we were doing it, and that's I think it could be a real Texas thing. I mean, I don't know any other states. Again, I didn't since I didn't grow up playing in Los Angeles as far as the local scene.
Yeah,
I bet you it was pretty close, but we had big. I always felt we had big music programs.
Yeah, Texas.
Education, right?
Yeah,
Lots of education.
very-
And how did you like Austin
Austin was at that time.
when you were there?
It was still more of a college town.
Good.
Nowadays, everybody's moving to Austin, but I never have seen Austin. There's a lot of musicians, but I don't see it as a capital of music like Nashville or L.A. or
Right,
New York.
right, right.
It's there are a lot of good musicians and a lot of places to perform, but it's not like a
Not an industry. There's
the
industry's
industry's
not there.
not there.
I think what's cool about Austin is, and because we know it even as kids here, because you heard of people living in Austin, and but I think they were already a little bit more established. So when people go there, they go there to live, and there's a community that goes out to listen to music.
Yeah,
That's the difference, I think.
Yeah.
When a lot of people say, "Oh, it's a music capital." Well, music capital deals with production,
Yeah.
recording, TV, movie, films. It's a whole. And I think Austin has a great community that supports.
Yeah, that supports the people that live there support
the arts.
the arts.
Yeah, right. That's good. So it's a good. What year was that when you came back to?
I'm not sure.
Early '80s.
I don't really. I think about times and years.
Yeah, you just know you were there.
I just know I was there.
Yeah, yeah. So it's any other place that you because right now you live in Laredo, right? You're in
Yes,
Laredo.
I live on the border.
Yeah, where all the action is. So
There's not much in Laredo, but it's a good place.
I have to say, Laredo, Texas, and also Laredo, which is it's a border town.
Nuevo Laredo.
So you have
Mexico.
Nuevo Laredo, which is in Mexico, and then you have Laredo, Texas, or Laredo, Texas. But I always feel it was a hotbed for music, just the same way Juarez and El Paso. There was just something about there.
Yeah.
So right now you sort of see the scene in Laredo as
But I don't think there's a scene there, but since there's not that much going on musically, and it's a small town, so I have more time to ride and to
right,
and
yeah.
to spend time
And relax.
recording and
Right. It's a different environment.
Yeah.
But my point was that you had a lot of great artists that came out of there.
Oh yeah, there
Also,
was a lot of
Rene was from
Yeah.
there. I mean, when I
Rene
see
and Rene. I toured with him also.
yeah, so Rene, no
They-
relationship to you.
They were on the what's the American Bandstand?
American bands, I know. Yeah,
Yeah, they
Dick
hit-
Clark's
They
American.
had
Yeah.
some hits in the '60s that were monster hits.
Yeah,
Went
exactly.
all over Latin America, and they were bilingual, English and
And
Spanish.
he's from Laredo, right?
And they're out of
Poncho
Laredo.
Sanchez, he's from Laredo.
Yeah, he's a great percussionist.
The trios we go back. We mentioned about
but
the boleros and the trios, and so Los Tres Reyes were
Yeah.
from Laredo. Gilberto Puente and his brother, and
great requinto player.
Requinto. I mean, they're just definitely
World class.
Yeah, world class players, Laredo, and you would think. And then we got the legend Rene Gasca from Laredo. Well, actually, you're not from there.
I'm a transplant.
You're a transplant. That's right. But I mean, I always feel there's just and also it has people that support. People who support the arts and stuff. So it's.
I also lived in the valley, which is McAllen.
Oh, that's right.
And there also the people that live there really support music.
Right.
They love music, right?
right. Oh, it's the whole,
all the border, the Texas border.
right. And it's legit. I mean, and then I know all the border areas have the norteño type music, but the mixture of what Tejano norteño along with the, obviously the roots of mariachi and trios, but that whole area of the valley has been a very um, important. Of course, it's just because it's every day. It's like a live from the pickers. The pickers who are picking, and I don't mean guitar pickers. I mean people that are picking oranges, strawberries, and
Working in the fields.
work in the fields. Yeah, they're called las pizcas in Spanish. We call it las pizcas. But I mean, when you're out doing that stuff, man, music is the release at the end. So it's but a lot of great musicians. There was got Esteban Jordan, Steve Jordan, accordionist. I mean, we can go on and on, but I think that's the richness of Texas. So you lived in some good areas where there's always
Music, a lot of music.
Yeah, a lot of music. And then San Antonio. I mean, right now we're in San Antonio. We're in the beautiful Alamo City, and
River City.
Yeah, and so it's a. So, did you spend time in San Antonio?
Yes, I spent quite a few years in.
Because your parents moved out here,
yeah,
right?
Yeah, they living here in San Antonio, and this is also a good place to. It's a real creative place. You can create a lot of people. There's a lot of studios here, and
Texas is big. Texas is big. It's just a big. It's a big state, and so there's not really one area.
Yeah, that their music is produced all over Texas.
Yeah, it's all over Texas. So you have the sound that's in the valley, and actually, Chris Christopherson was from Corpus. He was out there, and he also. Sometimes when I hear these guys, along with Willie Nelson, I hear that element of being in this area. I hear almost. I'm not gonna say trio type music, but I hear the Mexican style of playing.
They're influenced by the Mexican music.
You can hear it in Willie's playing. You can hear but it's just interesting because that's and I think later on in life, Chris Christopherson, Willie Nelson, Waylon Jennings, and Johnny Cash, they all got together, and it's sort of crazy because I hear all that. I hear a lot of Texas there, even though I know Johnny Cash is in Nashville, so is Christopherson in Nashville and L.A.
I also played with Ray Price.
Oh yeah, Ray Price.
Yeah, and I recorded with him, but he was also he was influenced by the Mexican music.
Yeah.
I recorded a bolero CD with Ray Price.
Yeah. So I mean, that's legendary too.
He was a country.
Yeah, the country artist,
A legend,
Yeah. So, did you ever go to Dallas to work in Dallas?
No, that's one place I performed in Dallas, but I never have lived there or worked too much around.
I think for the music, where the music is, especially, I think Houston is as far as north.
I think Fort Worth produces a lot of good musicians.
Fort Worth for sure.
What's the talk show host out of New York? I forget her name, but she's out of Fort Worth. She's very talented.
And she's in
New York. I can't think of her name.
A TV show? She has a TV show.
Yeah.
Okay, well, I'll look it up and then I'll put it on the description if we find it. Okay, so you really have worked with a lot of people. You've been blessed, huh? You've been blessed to work with a lot of people. Is there anything that you would? I mean, we can always. I'm gonna have. Do you have a website? You have a website, or do you have some way people can get a hold of you?
Just through Facebook.
Okay.
Or Instagram.
Okay, so you got those things going. Because I'll put descriptions on there. Renes. Again, we sort of tease about this legend stuff, and there's really to maintain in this field, which is when you work with Because right now you do stuff with AB, right? AB
Yeah, I've been
Quintanilla.
recording with AB, and I've been recording with him for many years, but I recorded the Amor Prohibido CD with Selena, which was Selena's last CD
was that the last one?
before she was
Yeah, and so
killed. And
so you were which songs were you on?
Bitty Bitty Bom Bom, probably one of her biggest hits. I recorded trumpet on that. 3 songs. The one is called El Chico de Apartamento 512 and Fotos y Recuerdos,
Oh, you did Fotos y
which was
Recuerdos?
a Pretender song when they translated the lyrics into Spanish.
Right.
And also the Bitty Bitty Bom Bom, which
So
is probably the biggest hit.
Yeah, Bitty Bitty Bom Bom is so iconic.
Yeah.
But Renes on that album on that cut, which is like that's iconic. It's an iconic recording. So
Yeah.
I'm so glad we were able to talk a little bit. See, there's stuff I didn't know. What's that?
To hook up here in San Antonio.
I know. Rene and I, we talk a lot, and we always, we've always talked a lot, and we always touch bases. But there was just things I didn't know. I didn't know about, some of the early things you were talking about with the. So it's good to know. See, your friends will know this. They'll check it out, and they'll say, "Oh, that's how the legend was born."
Well, thank you, Frank. Thank you for inviting me.
Yeah. I
to your show here.
Yeah, it was not. It's just it's just a little.
Yeah.
I think at the end, people just want to know, what the deal was, because sometimes people just know, because we never have enough time to really. When you're there, you're just talking and you're saying stuff, and you're in the moment. But that moment, there was something that created that moment, So I want to thank you, Rene. And so we'll have to next time we'll do it in Spanish.